Remind me as well, before we speak to Liverpool, remind me, so back in June, do you remember we were talking about the tier system last night, right? Forgive me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a 5-tier system announced back in June? And the 5-tier system was around the R number, with essentially 1 being everything's great, 5 being very, very bad, and that the R number, and that was the COVID alert system. Now they've gone for the COVID tier system, which is different to the COVID alert system, but the COVID tier system starts on medium, which is tier 1. Now, where's the low tier? And why? And what number is the low tier? Because then the high tier is number 2, very high is number 3. But who starts a system on medium and making that number 1? Surely you'd have made it, we should have all been on number 2 to start with, and we're aiming for number 1, which is the low tier. But as it was, and then did you look at the government's own published advice on the tiers? That Downing Street last night tweeted out all of the things for each tier, and most of tier 2 and 3, right? It was about, is your local gym open? Is your local pub open? Is, your vet going to be open? And every single one of them says, regional consultation in progress. So they can't even give the information on their own literature that they're publishing from their own Twitter account. I despair. And then we look at places like Liverpool, and we look at businesses in Liverpool, and we're going to talk to one right now. The Sandon pub is next to Liverpool Football Club. Kate Stewart runs that pub and joins me live via video link. Evening to you, Kate.
Good evening.
I'm despairing, sitting here, lucky enough to still be in a job, and I can't make head nor tail of what we're being told, why we're being told it, what's for the best going forward, and I can't even tell you what most of the rules are and how they apply. So how are you able to do all of this with a business to think of?
I can't. I've just come home and I've just said to my husband, I actually feel like crying. I've got this ball of anxiety in my chest that's making me feel like I can't breathe, and I've lost control. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's not something that's going to work, and it's just a complete and utter waste of time.
So let's talk about what you've been doing so far. So you run the Sandon pub. Before we get to the 10 o'clock rule and what that's all about, just talk us through what measures that you had to take to make your premises COVID safe.
So I'm next to Liverpool Football Club, and I'm a partner of the club. I deliver their hospitality for them. So on match days, we are looking at about 5,000 people in the pub. Mass amounts of takings. We turn over £5 million a year. Last year, I done £1 million hotel on the site as well, because the business was there, because Liverpool was doing so well, that I made that investment because I was getting a good ROI. And then COVID come along. So in March, I went to bed with a business that turned over £5 million and got up with a business that does nothing. So I am a match day pub, and I'm also a function venue as well. No football, no functions. I had nothing at all. So I had to adapt and think, okay, what can I do to keep the business ticking over?
Yeah.
So I opened as a restaurant. We spent thousands of pounds on making it COVID secure, PPE equipment, hand sanitizer stations everywhere. Going from a capacity of 6,000 people, we dropped to 400. It's a standing pub. We crammed there. Everybody just comes in, and we have people flying.
So you've gone under 10% capacity now?
Yep, absolutely. So just let me shut this door over because of my children. One of my babies has just woke up. So we've gone from... It's a match day pub, and it is people flying from all over the world. It's the birthplace of LFC. LFC was formed on my premises, and so people fly over from Australia, America. We have global customers, and it's a pub where you stand up and everyone stands in together, and they're all ole ole ole. It's all that, and it's gone from that to seating. And I'm just attention's getting pulled away because I'm actually watching my pub getting closed down on the news in front of me. The video and the doors closing. So
I mean,
yeah.
What kind of financial position are you in then at the moment, and also your staff?
So I reopened the pub as a restaurant to utilise the staff. My pub is in a deprived area, so the people I employ all depend on them wages coming in through the door. So I actually opened the pub for them to engage them into work. I never made any. It was actually costing me money, but so that they didn't feel threatened and that they were going to be made redundant, I made that decision to open the doors. On the day I opened the restaurant, the government announced that households were not allowed to mix inside pubs and restaurants. So it was like, boomph, another kick in the teeth. And then this has just come. It's like, wow, what are you doing to me?
Because your venues are now, as you just pointed out on the news, as the place with the toughest tier of restrictions. Though if you can make head nor tail of those tiers, then they're going to leave you in tears, I think, more than anything else. So you've just seen your venue close. How are you feeling at the moment?
Literally, I feel deflated. My head feels like someone's cut the top of my head off, put a scrambler in, scrambled my brain like scrambled eggs, and put the lid back on. I just feel like it's like a bit of a dream. Doesn't feel like a reality.
And what is the likelihood of your business surviving these
latest
measures?
I am in a fortunate position that I do have other businesses as well. So my other businesses are financially supporting the Sandon complex right now. And if I had to, I can close the doors and wait for the football to return, because it will return. It will come back.
But what a huge financial loss that would be for you. And that is potentially, I would presume, also going to leave perhaps some of your other businesses in a slightly more precarious position.
Absolutely. So your life becomes accustomed to what income you have. So I'm used to turning over £5 million. So I've got major commitments. I've paid for 3 kids to go to private school, because normally I work hard and I can afford it. And overnight, all of that's gone, but I've still got these bills that are all outstanding. And it's like, wow.
But also staff of your own who are reliant on your business turning over to be able to get their livelihoods, right?
This is just like that. That's the one thing that's broke me heart over it all. I look at these people and I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'm at a loss because they need the money, but I haven't got the money to pay them anymore. I can't. I physically can't do it.
So what if you could give a message to Boris Johnson tonight? Imagine he's listening to Talk Radio. He does all the time. What would you say to him?
Boris, you're an absolute joke shop. No one even knows what you're talking about, neither do you. 1 minute you're saying eat out to help out, and then the next month you're saying shut the hospitality sector. You're making a laughing stock of us. We don't even understand the rules and regulations. You can sit down in a premises and have a pie in front of you with a pint, but you can't sit down in the same venue with a pint in front of you because we've got to close. You can only open as a restaurant. It's not making any kind of sense.
You're angry, aren't you?
I'm furious. I'm so furious, because here's the thing: the reason why people are not listening to what they've got to say is because it doesn't make sense. Everyone's just thinking, "Wow, this is a joke. It's an absolute joke." So at 10 o'clock, COVID goes right. 10, 9, 8, it's 10 o'clock. Let's get everyone.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
And where are you? Because it must be quite difficult for you to know as well what next course of action to support. You've got some scientists saying, look, lockdown being the primary course of action is going to potentially really harm poorer people. You've got Keir Starmer now saying, no, we need this sort of 24-day lockdown. I mean, you must have really mixed feelings about what the next step for this country should be, right?
Cristo, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So if someone come to me and said, okay, Kate, it'll be next September, everything will be back to normal next September, I'd work towards that as a girl, but it's not. They're not telling us anything at all. There's no light and there's no hope for us. So I'm a businesswoman, but I'm not in control of my own business anymore, because I'm governed by the government saying, no, shut now, no, open now, now jump left, jump right, jump through hoops. It's like, what is even on about? Here's another thing. They don't give you any clarity. So they're saying a restaurant can open. So I've launched a food menu. But then somebody comes in and they buy a bowl of chips at 12 o'clock. What time do I have to tell them they have to leave after eating that bowl of chips? Can they sit there all day and carry on drinking with after eating that bowl of chips, or do I have to tell them they've only got half an hour?
I don't know. Are you asking me that, or are you putting that as a rhetorical question? Because you're quite right. I've no idea what the rules mean for that. And is a bowl of chips a meal, or is that considered not enough of a meal to be able to do that?
Who knows? Who knows? So if Boris Johnson's listening, mate, do me a favour. You're getting on the telly and you're just talking rubbish. We don't get you. We don't understand you. Make sure you know what you're talking about before you say it to people.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in for a long wait if that's what we're expecting from him. But listen, stay in touch with us, Kate. I'd really like to see how you're getting on, and we'll talk to you again. And look, best of luck just keeping it all ticking over in the hope that it all ends up sorting out for you. You honestly, businesses like yours are the backbone of the UK. And honestly, I send my love to you and the people of Liverpool, because I realise, my God, your city goes through the mill, but you are so tough there, right?
We're strong, and we'll come back bigger and better than ever. We're fighters.
I love your city, and so I'm going to make a visit to Liverpool next time I'm there. I love Liverpool. I think it's a great place.